All right, hi everyone. So, this is the third video pa lang. I'm trying na maghabol-habol ng mga videos pero medyo busy pa ako. Tomorrow will be the last day of school. So, I hope after that pwede na akong mag-upload ng madami. All right, so let's start. So this is Gurography once again. It's a free let review hub. And this is in collaboration with Team Radicals. Kaya yung segment ko, oof, okay. So yung segment ko is Smarter Together with Miss KF. Kasi nga po, as I always mentioned, there will come a time na na itatap ko din yung mga members ng Team Radicals pag hindi na po sila busy. Okay, so this is mostly Gen Ed questions. Although, may mga inad ako na I'm not sure kung dito ko inad yung ibang questions sa social major. Mga actual SPLE June 2025 board exam questions. Okay, not verbatim. Sinabi ko yun kasi ayoko mabash. Okay, so let's start really fast. Okay. Just ulit natin yung video. Okay, so number one, what are the key economic sectors contributing to development in Region 8? Okay, so ito yung malala ko lang talaga is yung key economic sectors kasi malala ko yung isinagot ko, which is fortunately, chumamba naman ako. So, ang Region 8, tinagay ko na din is Eastern Visayas. Okay. So, hindi ko maalala yung mga ibang options, but just the answer. Okay. So, letter A, services and produces industrial related products such as chemicals, textiles, clothing, clothing, electronic goods. Okay, wala akong comma dun. Food, beverages, and tobacco products. Okay, letter B, geothermal energy, water resources, and medium to heavy trades. Letter C, banana plantations, offshore gambling, and call centers. And letter D, tech startups, coffee farming, and aerospace engineering. Alright, so iyan ako muna yung clock bago ako magdaldal. Alright. Okay, so sa first video ko, linagay ko na 15 seconds. Pero sabi nung anak ko, it's too long. So, 5 seconds will do daw. And then, you just have to, to pause it if medyo mabilis yung 5 seconds. Alright? Okay, so ano po yung sagot niyo dito? Okay. So, ang sagot dito is geothermal energy, water resources, and medium to heavy trades. I think nahulaan ko yung sagot dito kasi parang masyadong obvious yung yung mga options eh. Ayun. So, eto, ginugol ko na ka pa din, bakit geothermal energy? Okay, so, dahil daw dun sa latest geothermal production field. Okay, so, dun sa nabasa ko, it supplies 20% of, of, uh, electric needs ng entire Visaya Island. Ayun. And then tong water resources, syempre, ano, it's the presence of latest sub-a basin. Yun yung wait lang po, iano ko yung aircon. Alright, sub-a basin. Ito daw yung parang pinaka biggest source ng water nila. And then, I think madami talagang medium to heavy trades kasi to begin with they have water resources, 'di ba? They are rich in geothermal energy. So, madami talagang pwedeng maging uh factories doon. But when I googled usually ito yung mga nila mining, farming, fishing and tourism. Ayun. So, itong letter A, ginugol ko to, idinagdag ko kasi baka lalabas. So, this is ano, NCR, yung sa services and produces industrially related products. So, NCR to. So, baka sa next na ano na tanong is baka NCR naman yung tatanungin. Itong ano, banana plantations, parang maalala ko kasi to eh. So, I included it na lang. So, banana plantations parang more on Mindanao to. Mindanao. Offshore gambling, syempre Pogo. Hello, Tarlac and Pampanga and call centers. It's everywhere. Okay. So these tech startups, coffee farming and aerospace engineering. Sa farming, I think sa Ilocos, I know na ano product namin yun because I'm also half Ilocana. Nanalo pa nga yung ano yung ano ba yun? I don't wanna say it breed, pero yung ano, yung kind of coffee na galing sa interior town namin sa ano, dun sa France. Ayun. Itong tech startups and aerospace engineering, we wish na lang muna. Wish ko lang. But it's not the answer. Okay, so ito po yung sagot po is geothermal energy, water resources, and medium to heavy trades. Okay. Number two, nagpunta siya sa kanyang paaralan kahapon. Ang nagpunta ay nasa panahunan ng pandiwa na, ayun. Ito, ano, buti na alala ko na yung perpektibo, imperpektibo, and contemplatibo, aspekto. Kasi, ang bilis ko sanang sasagutin to na perpektibo and then may nakalagay diyan na pang nagdaan which is I know na pang nagdaan is past tense, 'di ba? So nag-isip-isip talaga ako. Sabi ko although I don't know yung panahunan ng pandiwa, pero I know na yung aspekto ng pandiwa is perpektibo, imperpektibo, and contemplatibo. So I know I chose pang nagdaan and then I googled it after and I got it. Um, ito na naman ako, sinagot ko na naman. So let's go na lang doon sa sagot. Yes, so pang nagdaan siya. Um, Gumawa ko ng table so you can see, okay? Ito siya. So, yung pandiwa meron siyang aspekto and then meron siyang panahunan. Let's adjust yung ano. So, yung aspekto, yung clue ko dyan is aspekto because P means perpektibo, I imperpektibo, and then K contemplatibo. Itong panahunan is yung ano, yung parallel na meaning ng perpektibo is pang nagdaan meaning past tense, right? Imperpektibo, um, yeah, imperpektibo is it's happening, pang kasalukuyan. And then contemplatibo is pang hinaharap, meaning in the future. Ayun. So, hindi naman ako Filipino major, so I tried to understand ano ba yung difference ng aspekto tsaka panahunan. So, ang panahunan daw is yung tense niya, ang tense nung action, but yung aspekto is like the stage nung progress nung pandiwa. Ayun. I hope nakatulong. And I hope I'm not that fast. Is happening. All right, okay. So number three, where is the primary seat of the international tribunals, which have tried people responsible for serious crimes under international humanitarian law? Okay, so before I forget, i-clock ko na kasi baka sasagutin ko na naman to. Okay, I think kuhang-kuha nyo to kasi syempre ICC, di ba? Nakalagay na kasi dyan, although hindi nakalagay na ICC, di ba? Pero which have tried people responsible for serious crimes, di ba? So crimes against humanity. So I think your answer is correct. Ako na yung sumagot. Ayun, The Hague. Ayan, The Hague, Netherlands. All right. But prior to that, lagi ko na papanood tong ano yung The Hague dati sa mga movies, 'di ba? Sa mga ano uh, war movies. Pero akala ko ano siya, kasi 'di ba pag pinoportray nila yung The Hague, parang something na nakakatakot, 'di ba yung ganun? Akala ko sa movie lang yon. Pero nung ano, lumabas yung mga ICC dyan sa Pilipinas, sa news, totoo pala to. Okay, but I just want to discuss further a little bit lang. So, ang ICJ or International Court of Justice or ICC, it's just one of the six na principal organs ng United Nations. So, ito yung mga General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, Economic and Social Council, and Trusteeship Council. Itong lima na yan, nasa New York po sila. Yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yung ICJ or the International Tribunals, yun lang daw po yung nasa, or yun lang po ang nasa The Hague. Ayun. Itong Trusteeship Council, maalala ko nung nagre-review ako, it just exists in paper, pero hindi na siya, hindi na siya, hindi na siya operational kasi ang ng trusteeship is parang to guide na mag-transition yung mga colonies into sovereign countries. Pero if tama yung maalala ko, noong 1994, yung last na colony is nag-transition na siya to an independent nation, which is Palau in 1994, I think. Alrighty. Alright. Ito is sa social major. Uh Soc-Sci major. Okay, pero I included it na lang. So it is a philosophy that guides the government of Bhutan. I think ito lang yung pinaka niya eh. If maalala ko yung tama, sabi niya meron pa siyang nadagdag na which is recognized by UN. Ayun, parang maalala ko 'yon. Pero hindi ko kasi mahanap nung nung nagre-research ako. So hindi ko na lang dinagdag. But basically, ang sabi niya is it's it's Bhutan's something something. Ayan. So letter A, gross national happiness index. Letter B, gross domestic product. Letter C, gross national product. And letter D, gross national index. Okay, bago ko makalimutan, mag-clock muna tayo. Alright. So, eto, yung beshi-beshi ko. Hello, Beshi Maria. So, nung pagkalabas namin kasi magka-room kami. Dalawang beses kasi itong lumabas sa major. So, tinanong niya ako, ano yung sagot mo ganyan-ganyan? Tapos sabi ko, Gross National Happiness Index. Tapos, ako din, ganyan-ganyan. So, we research right there and then kasi naantay pa namin yung friend namin. Tapos bigla kaming sumigaw kasi tama yung sagot namin. Shh, ganun yung PRC. Sorry, ma'am. Okay. So, yeah. So, Gross National Happiness Index. So, nung nagbasa ako nito, di ba ang measure nung parang economic progress ng isang nation is usually GDP and GNP as well, 'di ba? Pero yung King of Bhutan daw, sabi daw niya hindi porke may pera ka, char, is happy ka, 'di ba? Kung wala kang love life, ayun. So, sabi niya siguro, let's think of of something na mas okay to gauge kung talagang may progress yung nation ko. Ayun. And itago natin siya, yung King of Bhutan in the 1970s, itago natin siya sa pangalang His Majesty Jigme Singye Wangchuk. Yun siya. Alright. So, yun siya. So, ang Gross National Happiness Index, it is in lieu or parang as an alternate of the GDP or Gross National Product, uh, um, used to gauge kung gaano talaga kaano siya, ka-progressive yung isang nation. So, yun daw. Dapat happy ka daw para masabi mo na progressive yung nation mo. Happy daw yung mga people. But how do you call that? But I just also researched. It's kind of ironic kasi yung ngayong 2025 ang pinakamataas ang GNHI is Finland. Sabi ko lang po, especially sa social science major, baka lumabas po. Finland po. All right. Okay, number five, what is the current world's population? And then malala ko to kasi nakalagay pa according to 2022 survey. All right. Malala ko talaga tong nakalagay na according to 2022 survey. Okay, so let's start the clock po muna. All right, so letter A, 6.7 billion, letter B, 7.6 billion, letter C, 8.1 billion, and letter D, 9.0 billion. Okay, so ano po yung sagot niyo? All right, so yung sagot po dito is 8.1 billion. Um, Actually, nung research ko to, parang ano to parang estimate nung census yung 8 billion, 'di ba? Pero ang maalala ko dun sa if tama yung maalala ko is 8.1. So hindi talaga siya exact, 'di ba? Pero pinakamalapit na yung 8.1 billion. So I also research currently talaga we have 8.2 billion now. Okay. Madagdag ko na lang din baka lumabas So ito yung itong ng UN is nung 2017 pa to. So nung 2017 we have a world population of 7.6 billion, and then by 2030 daw we will be tumataginting na 8.6 billion, sa 2050 9.8 billion, and 2100 will be 11.2 billion. O baka ito naman ang lumabas sa September, 'di ba? Baka sabihin nila ano yung forecast na world population by 2030, 'di ba? So it pays to be informed. All right. So number six, a circle is inscribed in a square with side length of 8 cm. What is the or centimeter? What is the area of the circle? Okay, so letter A, 8 centimeter pi. So nakalagay na yung pi. Letter B, 16 centimeter pi. Letter C, 32 centimeter pi. Letter D, 64 centimeter pi. I'm not sure if ang nakalagay is 8 pi centimeter. Basta ganyan na po siya. Okay, so I'll give you the clock first. Okay, so ang sagot dyan is 16 centimeter. Okay, so we were lucky also kasi dahil sa batak na kami sa kaka-review. Na-memorize talaga namin yung niya, nitong formula niya. So i-explain ko lang para feeling math major. Okay. So eto siya. Ang sabi niya, a circle is inscribed in a square, meaning yung circle nasa loob nung square. 'Di ba? Tapos, yung side length niya, ito, yung D to C, if nakikita nyo, hindi ko alam kung makikita kasi sa video yung cursor ko. Yung D to C, or whatever siguro, D to A, or whatever to. Basta itong D to C, ang length niya is 8 centimeter. Ayun, 8 centimeter na siya. Okay, I don't know how to, kasi, to mag-annotate or write something. Yan, so 8 centimeter na siya. Eh, ang, ang formula ng area is pi times raised to the second power. 'Di ba? So, ang hinahanap natin ay radius. Paano natin makita yung radius? Ayan. So, dahil ang side length niya is ng D to C or D to A or whatever, basta ito yung side length niya is 8 centimeter. Ito na din yung pinaka-diameter ng circle, 'di ba? Ito na yung pinaka-diameter niya. Eh, ang radius, half nung diameter, di ba? Half nung diameter. So, hatiin mo yung 8. So, ang ano niya, let me see if, ayan, ayun, ayun pala. Ayan. So, yung radius, tinati ko yung 8 divided by 2 para makuha yung radius niya. Kasi 8 is the diameter, right? And then, ito, inano ko lang siya. So, radius, tapos ito, 4 raised to the second power. Raised to the second power po to, hindi po 4 times 2. Ayan. And charan, it's 16 pi centimeters, ano, square centimeter. Okay? Kasi 4 times 4, di ba? Pag 4 ay raised to the second power, it means dalawang beses mo siyang i-times by itself. So 4 times 4, that is 16. And dahil ang pi should be 2.14 if tama yung maalala ko. But andyan na yung symbol ng pi. So hindi mo na siya kailangang i-times pa sa 2.14 ba yun or 3.14? Not so sure. Yung pi. Teka lang. Ano ko. Bigla akong nablangko. Safari. Kung ano yung pi. Pi is 3.14 ang alam ko. Pero bakit naisip ko ang 2.14? 'Di ba? Wait lang ha. Oh, yes. So 3.14 tama. But you don't have to multiply it kasi nga po andyan na yung sign ng pi. Ayun. Kung mabilis ako i-comment nyo na lang po, tapos ulitin ko na lang. Alright? So we go to number 7. Which one is a pen name of Jose Rizal? Sabi nung bata. Jose Rizal. Okay, so letter A, Kalipulaco. Letter B, Dimasalang. Siguro to. Letter C, or Dimasalang. I don't know. Letter C, Jomapa. And letter D, Plaridel. Okay, 5 seconds. Okay. So pag batak ka na sa review, easy-easy na talaga to. Pero syempre nung bago din ako, ano to, 'di ba? So of course ang answer is Dimasalang or Dimasalang. Okay, kasi si Kalipulaco is si Ponce. Yun, feeling ko si Ponce, si Ponce, pinaka-cool siya kasi ang magaganda yung mga ano niya eh, yung mga pen names niya. Kalipulaco, Tikbalang, Naning, ganon. Ang cool. Parang ano, rakista. Alright, si Jomapa, si Jose Maria Panganiban, di ba? Siya daw yung ano, my pictographic or eidetic memory. Sana all. Alright, and of course si Plaridel, oh, pinakamahirap, di ba? Si Del Pilar, si Marcelo Del Pilar, binaliktad lang. Okay, so gusto ko lang pong idagdag yung mga other pen names of Jose Rizal. Si Jose Rizal, baka sakaling lumabas din. Alright, so yung laong-laan niya, ang meaning niya is ever prepared. Uh, this is from the name daw ito ng railway station dyan sa Manila. And ginagamit niya to doon when he was contributing sa La Solidaridad, which is the organ, yung fortnightly organ ng ng propaganda propaganda movement. Ayun. All right. Ito tong si Di Masalang, Touch Me Not. Parang 'di ba may Di Masalang, wag mo kong salingin. Parang ganun siguro to, no? So Touch Me Not. So ito daw yung ginamit niya dun sa ginamit nung inano niya yung Amor Patrio. Love of Country, yung Amor Patrio when he wrote it. All right, may pag-asa, ginamit daw niya to sa free masonry nung 'di ba nung nag-transfer siya sa Madrid, ano he joined Freemasonry. And Calambenyo, nahanap ko to. Ginagamit din daw niya to. Pero wala kasi makitang magandang ano kung saan niya ginamit to. But he did daw. Calambenyo and Agno. Alright. Alright. Letter 8. What was the title of Jose Rizal's famous essay? So, essay siya, where he predicted the future of the Philippines 100 years ahead. Alright. Letter A. Filipinas dentro de 100 años. Años. The Philippines a century hence. All right. Letter B, Los Viajes. Travels. Letter C, El Amor Patrio, The Love of Country. And letter D, Revista de Madrid. Review of Madrid. Okay, buti naalala ko yung timer ulit. Okay. Mahuhulaan nyo din naman to, di ba? Feeling ko mahulaan nyo talaga sa galing nyong yan. Alright. So the answer is Filipinas dentro de 100 años. Kasi mahalata naman yung the Philippines a century hence. Ibig sabihin yung nakikita niya yung ano yung Pilipinas after a century. That is after 100 years. 'Di ba? So, very easy to. So, nagdagdag na lang ako ng parang trivia-trivia niya kasi baka, ay wala pala akong ano, pa-trivia dyan. But anyway, this is an essay and kinocontribute niya to sa uh, La Solidaridad. So, ano daw to in serial form, parang four series daw to. Yun. So, dito, ano, he outlined kung ano yung mangyayari sa Pilipinas after the colonialism ng ano, nung nung Spain. Nawawala ako. Nung Spain, after colonialism ng Spain, di ba? Kasi ano, 333 years ba naman tayong na, ano, na-colonize ng Spain. And yung magiging effect ng ano, yung iba yung incoming influence ng US at the time, United States of America. So, kung paano niya impact when it comes to our national identity, yung parang ganon. Alright, yung ating governance, 'di ba? Ano, magiging ano ba tayo? Katulad, will we gonna adapt yung style ng ano, governance ng US? O mga ganun. Mga ganun siguro. Okay. Alright. Alright. Number 9. Which of Jose Rizal's literary works was dedicated to his mother? All right. So letter A, Noli Me Tangere. Letter B, El Filibusterismo. Letter C, Mi Ultimo Adios. Letter D, Mi Primera Inspiración. Marami talaga yung result sa GenEd. Kaya madali ding makakuha ng mataas na grade. Yeah, huwag ka na magdaldal ka rin yung ano, clock. Okay. Okay. Of course, yung ano is Mi Primera Inspiración. Yes. All right, my inspiration. Siguro my first inspiration. So, of course, sinulat niya to sa Spanish kasi may primera inspiración nga, 'di ba? Nung 9 years old siya. Pero nung ano, nung nagbabasa ako about this one, meron akong nahanap na ano na baka hindi daw siya yung sumulat. Baka daw ang sumulat is yung pamangkin niya na anak ni Narcisa na si Antonio Lopez. Ayun. So, hindi natin alam. Ito yung mahirap sa ano, lalo na yung sa mga sa Socsci major, ang daming different resources, iba-iba yung sinasabi minsan. So, hindi mo alam yung sagot. So, magdasal ka na lang talaga na yung sagot mo is tamang sagot din ng BPT. Alright. Oh, really? This is 9. Tapos, hmm? Naulit ko pala yung number 9. Okay, let's see. Baka ito na yung number 10. So, which theory of Ptolemy did Nicolaus Copernicus contradict with his heliocentric memory? Maalala ko yung tanong na to talaga. Which theory of Ptolemy, tapos Nicolaus Copernicus contradict. So, kapag ano talaga, pag yung, kasi pagod ka na by that time, 'di ba sa major kasi yun na yung ano lalo sa amin kasi magmi-midnight na noon. So parang inulit-ulit ko inulit-ulit ko yung na basahin yung mga tanong kasi pwede kasing mamali yung intindi mo just because you're tired. Okay, the clock, Karen, the clock. All right. So let's read muna yung mga ano. Ay, nako. Let's read muna yung pasensya na. Baguhan lang. Let's read muna yung options. So letter A, planets orbit the sun in perfect circles at uniform speeds. Letter B, celestial bodies move in elliptical orbits with varying speeds. Letter C, Earth is at the center while the other planets and the sun move around it. And letter D, Earth orbits the sun once every year and that the Earth turns entirely on its own axis each day. Okay. So, hindi ko maalala yung mga ibang options pero chu lang yung mga yun. Mag-focus na lang tayo kung ano yung sagot. Okay? So, dahil binigyan ko na kayo kanina ng ano time, ang sagot is letter C. So, yung Earth is at the center while the other planets and the sun move around it. Okay, so kasi ang tanong is ano yung theory of Ptolemy, 'di ba? So parang pampagulo na lang yung did Nicholas Copernicus contradict? So, 'di ba? Baka nga naman pwedeng mahilo ka na. Yung hanapin mo is kung ano yung theory ni Nicolaus Copernicus, 'di ba? Pero ang hinahanap talaga yung ano yung theory ni Ptolemy. All right. So, i-explain ko po para po sa mga ano, sa mga baguhan ha. Kasi alam ko ano, boring na to sa mga batak sa review pero para sa mga baguhan. All right. Kasi nung bago din naman ako, hindi ko to naiintindihan. Alright. So, ano ba yung kay Ptolemy? Yung kay Ptolemy, mali talaga siya. Sure. Okay, so ang basically, ang sinasabi lang niya is, yung Earth yung pinaka-center. Ito siya. Yon, pinaka-center. And then, lahat daw ng ano, ng planets is nagre-revolve around it, including the sun. Ayon. So, kaya it is also called Earth-centered theory or geocentric model. Okay. Ang geocentrism, what does it mean? It means yung relating to or yung things are measured from the point of view nung Earth's center. Okay, and yung Copernicus theory, although hindi siya yung ano, yung yung pinakauna talaga na nag ano ng 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 how do you call that? This theory na heliocentrism, ayun. Heliocentrism na yung sun daw yung pinaka-center of the solar system and everything revolves around it. Although hindi siya yung pinakauna. Um uh siya kasi yung unang nag-measure nung distance ata nung mga different planets. Ayan. So, ayun. So, ito. Kaya lagi siyang nababanggit. Pero, I remember, nung September 25 daw, lumabas daw tong sino yung pinakauna na ng heliocentrism. And, yung sagot is Aris, tama ba? Aristarchus. Okay. And ito naman, yung geocentrism, ang pinakauna is Yoxodus. Eoxodus. Yoxodus siguro yun. Or Exodus. So, yun na yun. Or Exodus. I don't know. But yun na yun. Ito na ba yung last? Yun na nga, namali lang po ako. Alright, so thank you so much. So hopefully, may natutunan kayo sa akin. Thank you, thank you. And once again, this is another a segment of Smarter Together with Miss KF. All right, and I want to say goodbye at nag-iiwan ng kasabihang gusto ko pa talagang mag-joke. Um, Imagine kung Nicole ang pangalan mo pero ni text ka lang. Eh. All right, goodbye. Thank you.